So Yellowjackets has returned, and so have we. Season 2, Episode 1. Let's jump right into it. Kaylee, what did you think?
I thought it was a really good first episode for the season. It answered like one big question that we had, which was whether or not Lottie survived.
Sure.
So that's like the biggest thing I think that we get this episode. But I thought it was great. I mean, it's like the same kind of, jumping from past and present, same style as the last season. I didn't think that was going to change or anything, but it just feels like a really solid first episode.
So was it a question to you after the end of episode, 10? Was it 10 episodes last season? So at the end of the last episode of last season, when the banker or whatever calls and leaves the message on Nat's phone and is like, who the hell is Lottie? Like, that pretty much confirmed she was alive, right?
I guess it did confirm she was alive, but like not seeing her, like we hadn't seen her at all. So getting like visual confirmation felt like more complete. Because anybody could have been Lottie. Yeah, they could have. Yeah, I mean. True. Yeah.
I was just wondering if you thought there was a possibility she wasn't alive and someone was using her name or something.
Sure. Yeah. With the show, I don't know what could have happened, but that could have been a possibility.
So my biggest question that I now have is that all of last season, the core four were characters that basically interacted with one another because they were the surviving members. And, they had Shauna, they had Misty, they had Thaisa, and they had Natalie, right? And Travis killed himself.
Yeah.
So we had this kind of group text going on, group chat, and then they were getting together because they were the surviving members. But we know now from this episode that Lottie was on the plane and a survivor, right? And from what I can tell of the opening credits, plus trailer stuff, that Van also survived.
Yes.
And was on the plane with them as well. So why is Van and Lottie not in the inclusion of suspects when they're saying, like, who could possibly know what we did? Right? It seems very weird to me that Lottie and Van's names never get brought up.
Sure. In
any of their conversations, when it's like, they're sitting there and they're like, who could be doing this? Oh, is it one of us? I mean, who could it be? And it's like, there's other people who survived.
Yeah.
And you're not including them. And you're purposely not including them to dupe us, the audience, right? Now, will they have an explanation? I would hope. I would think that they either think that it is possible, because what I'm thinking, as far as from the episode shows, right? They show that Lottie goes off to like a mental institution and has shock therapy to try to like, take her out of her catatonia. So like, or catatonia.
Yeah, catatonia sounds like a country.
Yeah. So maybe they thought she was still in a mental institution and they didn't realize she was like running a cult.
Well, I was gonna say that they could think that they're dead, after the fact.
I feel like this is something they would know. Because
I think
because
Misty
they're survivors,
sure
with how in she is on things, but like with the fact that they're like surviving members of this big deal event.
Yeah.
If any of them died, this is gonna be front page stuff, and there's gonna be reporters and news people who would want to come talk to Thaisa, especially, who's running for office, like, hey, one of the surviving members of the people that you came home with died. What do you have to say about this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they would know if someone died.
Well, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I think maybe it was intentionally left out but the show feels a little too smart to just kind of like not have an explanation for why they weren't mentioned or included or known about, So I don't know that it was just like, we're going to conveniently not not, say their names so that it's a big surprise when we bring them out in season 2. I think that we'll get some explanation for why they weren't thought of initially.
I agree. I think that with that... Hey!
Hey, Mr. Man, come here.
We got a dog trying to chew on cords.
You want to try up here?
We've already tried to record this multiple times, but he keeps whining up in her lap.
Yeah.
And now when he runs around, he's trying to chew cords.
We gotta monitor him.
This is going to be interesting.
We'll see what he does.
Hopefully I can remember everything I wanted to say. But I'm sure if I don't, you'll blast me in the comments below for it. I do think that we'll get some form of an explanation, even if it's in a hand-wavy kind of way, where, Natalie will say something like, oh, I thought she was upstate in a mental institution, or I thought she's dead, or something like it. As long as they say anything like that, then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if they never mention it, I'll be like, why were they never included in your suspect list when they would be the people who would know and you don't have a track on?
Especially Lottie, because...
Especially Lottie.
I think that we got enough in the last season to show that there was, definite tension between her and the other girls. And definitely in this episode, we really see it. But especially Lottie. Van, maybe not as much because, the last season, I don't think
but Thaisa...
But Thaisa would want to know.
And her in love.
Yeah. So, I think we'll get an explanation. If we don't, we'll be upset. Because it'll just feel kind of lazy.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
But I don't think the show is lazy, so I'm expecting something.
Yeah, I expect there will be some explanation of that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to assume they think that she was in like a mental institution or something. Van, I don't know. I don't know what to say on that one. She doesn't talk to them anymore. But that if there's like some disgruntled, estranged relationship between them, then that puts even more focus on why they'd want to blackmail them.
Sure. Yeah, because that would be the main thing, given this episode, not to jump around too much, but we see Thaisa being a weirdo yet again and doing some really creepy stuff. And she, bites Van while she's sleepwalking or sleep whatever. So I could see there being something really crazy that happens between them. That Van's like, I don't want anything to do with you.
But that adds to my point.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I would think that would be the reason why they wouldn't talk. But you're right that would cause more suspicion. Like,
maybe it's your crazy ex-girlfriend, Van.
So,
right? Like, that would be the first thing out of Misty's mouth.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So that's where I'm saying, they better have a good explanation of why Van and Lottie were never suspects.
Yes.
In their assumptions.
Yeah.
Because even, it doesn't matter. They live across the world. Get on a plane.
Sure.
Could be them anyways. If they're alive, it can be them. So this is, I want this explained to me. And it just feels at this moment like it was purposely withheld just to dupe us as the audience into being like, well, we know these 4 are alive, right? But who else could be alive? And it's like, we thought someone survived that they thought died.
Sure.
Right? That was our big assumption, was Lottie was thought to be dead, did not get caught by the rescue team either, was like, no, I don't want to go with them, and ran off into the woods.
Right, but that's the big difference.
But that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Right? We know they came home on the plane with them.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, oh shit, well now that doesn't work.
Right.
So what do we do from here? So we'll see. So let's move on from that. But we see Lottie is really at the beginning stages of this kind of cult leader in both present and past, right? We see her using sage or whatever the hell she has, some kind of equivalent to a sage. She's burning over them. And then she makes them drink something with her blood in it and all that. And it's like, then she throws that whole bullshit argument out at you. She's like, Nat's like, this is like, we don't need to do this. And she's like, well, you haven't died yet.
Right.
And
Like
it's
this
like,
is doing
ugh,
something because...
eye roll.
Yeah.
That is like the most nonsensical argument. Like, oh, you haven't died yet. Okay, let's not do it today. And then if I don't die, does that mean that you're bullshit or what?
Yeah.
Or I just got lucky. Like, oh, I hate those kinds of arguments. They're so dumb. But yeah, I mean, this just very much shows that Lottie just kind of has that presence. She's just a cult leader at heart.
There are people that have that type of personality, and there's just something compelling about them to a lot. And especially in this scenario, I feel like we talked a lot about it last season, just like being in that situation and how, you know, at least half of the people there would want to turn to some type of like higher power, spirituality, magical thinking because it's comforting. And but yeah, in present day, she's full blown like new age, like cult leader, retreat leader person. And
so
yeah.
in the opening credits, we get some new footage, and some of the new footage shows kind of a battle between one faction and another faction out in the past, right? Girls rushing at one another, kind of like in a fight with each other. So I think there is going to be a rejection of this, and there's going to be people on one side and people on the other side. It's going to be like Lottie's people versus, I don't know who the leader of the like opposing group will be yet. Natalie probably.
That's who I would guess.
So my guess as far as this or this group that kidnaps Natalie and brings them to Lottie, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I actually think it's going to be different than people think it's going to be. I actually think that she's trying to break people from cults. And I think these people were in cults. This is a total, like, I'm completely guessing here. But this is the impression I got from it. Is that she was like a cult leader and then she got shocked and this, like, recalibrated her. And now she's trying to de-radicalize people from cults. Ironically, putting them in a cult to get over their cults. And that will kind of be the irony of it, is that they're falling into a cult to try to get out of a cult. And I think when they're burying that guy, this is some kind of rebirth, breaking away from his cultish roots.
That's interesting. I don't think it's that.
I do. I think that she's bringing Natalie there to as an intervention.
I do think she's doing some type of like intervention, as you said, but I don't think it's like I don't think her whole shtick is anti-cult. I think she's like full blown still like into what she was into. I don't think the shock therapy changed her whatsoever. Okay. And I just think that because like everything is so cult like all the people
that's what
there,
I'm saying.
I know that's
what's
the
funny
irony,
about it. Yeah.
But like I just don't see how like if you were trying to break people of being in a cult, you wouldn't make them wear the same colors and have like a sigil.
Yeah,
it's
the anti-cult cult.
It's interesting, but I just don't think it's that. But it is interesting. I do agree that she's trying to do some type of intervention thing with Natalie. I think that she got like, I think that she might be connected to the other survivors that were with her out in the wilderness, and I think that she is trying to save them from like some type of whatever the mystical threat might be, although the show is obviously very ambiguous whether it's an actual supernatural something or psychological. And I don't know where we leaned last season. I think I leaned wanting it to be supernatural but thinking it was more psychological. I don't know, but yeah, I think she's getting like vibes and is trying to step in to help.
So I think essentially what's going to happen here, as far as this like division rift that happens, we're introducing some new characters so that we can kill them. The girl that's in choir or whatever, the theater girl, her and a couple other girls who we never saw last season and are just new faces all of a sudden. It's like, where were they? Doesn't matter. But I do think that what we're going to see is that the division will be created and then mirrored in the future, where one side of the cult will be comprised of like Misty, Nat, Shauna, and Thaisa, right? And on the opposing side, Thaisa's Van, right? So they're like fighting with one another on one side because that'll create that drama, right? Of like, we're in love and we're this unified front. And then Van starts snuggling up to Lottie, right? And then Thaisa gets really pissed off about it. And then there's that tension. And then, you know, they're distanced from one another. And I could even see Travis being on that side, on Lottie, because she gave him a hard-on, which Natalie has not been able to achieve, that I remember. Or did they ever have sex? Because I know he couldn't get it up the first time. But did he come really fast some other time? Or am I just thinking of the hard-on thing? I can't remember now. I thought they tried to screw once and he couldn't get it up.
That's what I thought, too.
Wasn't that what it was?
I think it was just like the one time.
Because we couldn't decide on whether he came too fast or he couldn't get it up. And we had decided he couldn't get it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wasn't able to do it.
But in this, we outright see him with a hard-on after
Natalie
Lottie
does not
touches
see that.
Oh, she does not see it?
Natalie doesn't see that.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I thought that would create like jealousy.
Fast. No, she doesn't see
wow,
it
you
at
gave
all.
him a hard-on and I couldn't?
No, yeah,
okay.
he like has his whole like vision, you know, trippy visions, and then he like notices it, and Lottie looks down and notices it, and then he like covers himself really quickly with like a blanket.
I don't know. That hints to me they'll become romantic. And Natalie's going to get really pissed off about it. Right? And that'll create that rift.
Yeah, Lottie being, like, I think the two factions is pretty, like, likely and inevitable, and Travis being on one side and Van being on that side as well would make sense.
But this would once again add even more to what we were talking about in the opening. Of like, if they are on opposing sides and there was this kind of war, then it's like, who's going after you? Probably the girls we had a war with and are still alive, right?
Yeah.
Like, that would be their first thought. So, they got to say something, right? If they do this, if they do have Lottie, like, versus Shauna and them, and then they didn't mention it throughout the whole first season, and they knew she was alive, that's a big flaw.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Okay, I don't want to come back to it, but I keep adding evidence to how that would be bad writing.
Sure.
Right?
By like what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Okay, moving on. I really enjoy the Misty coaching Shauna scene. This feels very authentic to Misty, you know, because she's just this. She's a crime buff, right? And she's very privy to tactics, and this is her life. She's like this junior detective sleuth wannabe. What do they call those people? That like
couch detectives.
Couch detectives, yeah. That's totally her.
Yeah, I liked that scene a lot. I thought it was good, and she like makes the cookie that says, "I want to see," or
I want my lawyer.
She's like, "That's all you say."
Yeah,
that was cute.
That's true. That is all you say.
Yep.
Yeah, Misty is just proving once again why she's the best character in the show. Yeah. She is despicable, right?
Yes.
Like, it's funny, she is that character that's like, you love to hate her, you hate to love her.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, why do I like this girl? She's so awful. Well, but she's so wonderful.
Yeah, part of it's, you know, her performance is just so great, and she's just kind of like naturally lovable, it feels like. But yeah, like as a character, she is just that weird mix of like, she's a horrible person, but also you find her like really endearing. But everyone in the show is horrible, so like everyone sucks as far as their personality, or as far as their like morals and ethics go.
Yeah, they're all terrible people for sure. I'd say, if I had to say, I think Shauna's the worst, and I've talked about this many times. I think she's a straight up villain.
I do too.
And she's the main character, if you will. But Misty, this adds less credibility. Every episode keeps adding more and more lack of credibility to me that no one wants to fuck Misty.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this chick would be
so
getting
adorable.
laid left, right, and center. Like, I don't care how
Yeah.
crazy she is. She's too lovable. She's too attractive. I ain't buying it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, I really enjoyed that scene.
Me too.
I don't know if this is the actress's actual eyes or not. It looked like she was wearing contacts, but why are Thais's eyes straight up red?
They looked so red, and I did not remember them being that color. Last season, like the really deep, like amber brown.
Yeah. They're super
But they looked
weird color.
red,
Yeah.
and I have to wonder if that's like a reaction, like it's supposed to be like that, or I'd have to go look at the last season and see if she had the same color eyes, because I don't remember them that shade.
They're crazy looking.
Yeah.
I thought she was like a freaking inquisitor or something. She's got them red ass eyes. And not the whites. We're talking about the freaking
Like
irises.
her irises.
They're really intense. That is the cutest, most well-groomed little dog I've ever seen in a shelter.
I know. Steven?
Steve, yeah.
He
Good
is
old
so
Steve.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to a good amount of shelters. I've never seen a dog that looked like it came from the Westminster Dog Show.
Yeah, me either.
He's a good looking boy.
I could win some competitions.
He sure could. We get a timeline on this, which is 2 months after Jackie's death in the flashback stuff. So we did jump ahead 2 months. They're running out of bear.
It's a lot of snow outside.
A lot of snow. Every night you've got Natalie and Travis are going out and mapping the area, hunting, but realistically, they're looking for Javi.
Yeah.
And then you get this interaction between Travis and Lottie where she's like, your brother's still alive. Now, this show continues to keep towing the line of supernatural, right? Where you can always say to this point, well, maybe they just, whatever. Maybe they just saw that. Maybe, maybe we're seeing their perception of things, right? We don't really have outright confirmation. The only thing that, felt... I mean, I don't know, though. I'm leaning supernatural. It just feels the most right. Like, a bear doesn't walk up to you and offer itself to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Jackie, who is seeing visions before she dies, and we even kind of see, after death, but that's in her dreams. But that's as she's dying. I don't know. I don't know how, but I have to say this show is eventually going to just go outright supernatural at some point.
I want it to.
But I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know either, because I think that there's so much. I mean, yeah, the bear thing is really weird, but I think, unless I'm forgetting some crazy, unexplainable thing, I think a lot of the stuff from the last season and even this episode is these girls are freaking traumatized.
Sure.
Everybody's traumatized, and that this could easily be their just response to that. But I want it to be supernatural because I think it's scarier. Yeah. But with Lottie, I don't know yet. I don't know what powers she has because, she does seem to have an ability to calm people down. She does it to Travis. And then when we have, when we see her at the mental institution, she's calming down her roommate who's freaking out.
Sure.
By doing the same thing, but I don't know what that is. So.
Yeah. She just has that kind of presence.
Yeah.
She calms people. But when she goes to her new cult, her potential cult,
Anti-cult
cult. I'm probably wrong on that, but I just thought that would be super funny and ironic that she's creating a cult of people who were in cults to reform them from cults by putting them in a cult, right? I don't know. For me, that would be really funny because that's what people do. They fall from one cult to the next, thinking oh, I'm recovering.
Sure. Yeah.
No, you're just falling into your old ways.
Yeah.
But she outright says it isn't real, right? To her new cult members. And I definitely think like her intentions are to grab Nat and reform her. She's trying to give her some intervention. Now, whether that's on drugs and alcohol or her lifestyle choices or, doing some kind of revisionist history where she tells her how things were back in the day and different than how she remembers them or whatever, I don't know.
I thought that she was saying that, like, nothing outside of yourself was real. Mm-hmm. Oh, for some reason I thought you said something different there, which to me doesn't make it seem like she's against cults. That makes it seem like a very, I don't know, like, again, the magical thinking kind of a train of thought.
Yeah.
But anyway,
religious cults.
It would really suck if she starts trying to gaslight Natalie and be like, it wasn't the way you thought it was. Like, we didn't eat that bear.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's the bear that people care about.
I know. We didn't eat those people.
Yeah, we didn't eat those people. Yeah, I mean, there we go. That's the big revelation at the end of this episode is Shauna's the first to eat.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
I knew she was going to eat that ear. I knew that was going to be the last shot
of
the episode. We didn't even talk about her with Jackie.
We'll get there. I just... When it comes to Shauna, do you think that she ate Jackie's ear out of hunger? Or some Jeffrey Dahmer-esque feeling of, like, connection to her dead friend? Where she's
Both.
Like, I'm gonna consume a part of you, and then I'll be connected to you.
Both.
Like, I've always got your ear now.
Yeah, I think it was both.
Okay.
I think it was a combination. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that if you froze somebody for months and then ate their defrosted ear, you would get sick. I don't think that you could eat that and be okay. And maybe she will get sick.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to cook it or stew it up. But I don't know. Like, it was frozen, but I don't know.
I think the fact that they didn't bury Jackie and they put her in where the rest of the meat is kept is very telling.
They couldn't bury her.
Why not? Because of the snow?
The hard ground would be too hard. It would be very, very hard.
It just seems
to dig
really
through the earth
weird
with their
to
hands.
leave her like
they could bury
I don't
her,
know.
but it
I
would
guess,
be
yeah.
so taxing.
Yeah.
And they don't have the energy
Or the
because they
tools.
don't have the food.
Yeah.
And the tools are very limited.
That's
as
fair.
well.
That's
so
fair. I don't know.
when she's talking to Jackie and then we hard cut to
just the
frozen
corpse.
Jackie, that was actually pretty jarring and pretty scary.
It was really scary.
Yeah.
It's super sad, of course, because she's, again, in this traumatic situation where her best friend just froze to death. But, yeah, it's really scary to see that.
The actress who plays young Shauna clearly lost weight. And that, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it fits because they haven't eaten well in months.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she just lost weight and they showed up and they just filmed it, or if they were like, all right, now it's time to lose some weight.
Yeah.
Right, because you need to look like you haven't eaten in a while.
Yeah.
I was unsure of that when she was on screen because I was like, you look 15, 20 pounds lighter. Which would make perfect sense. So I'm glad that it's there. I just don't know if that was on purpose or not. You've got Misty, the sleuth, going in and harassing Natalie's, front desk guy, getting the info out of him. And she, of course, eventually she's going to go find that camera footage, go in there, do what she does. I don't know. I don't know what she's going to have to do to get that footage. She already threatened him. Would she go as far as hurting or killing him? I don't know. I mean, she is already killed, right?
She's already killed several people, at least.
I doubt she'd kill him. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know.
Either, but I think that she...
Misty's not an aggressive killer, right?
Yeah,
She's like a little schemer.
Yeah, so I think if she can get it without killing him, she will.
Yeah.
I don't think she wants to kill people.
She's not the kind of person
it's more
that's
like
gonna,
if the only option is to kill, then she'll do it.
Sure.
That's really what it is.
But she's not the kind of person that's going to take you by power. She's not going to pull out a gun, right? She's going to poison your cigarette.
Yeah.
Right? She's going to break the black box when your head's turned and doom you all to months and months, years of being out in the wilderness because you liked the way that she took care of somebody.
Right.
Right? Like, Misty is such a fucking flawed character.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I love her for it. And then we get the scene where Shauna takes Jeff to Adam's art studio. And we get all of these Jack and Rose-esque photos where he has painted her like she posed for him. And she didn't, not that we're aware of. I don't think she did. And they didn't know each other that long.
Yeah.
He painted a lot of paintings of her in a very short amount of time, man. She really made an impression on him. Or did she? Was she? I mean, obviously our suspicions back in season 1 was that he was Javi.
Yes.
Right? We didn't know how the hell she would know he was Javi.
Right.
But regardless, we had that speculation, and we're like, you know, it was going to be revealed later, and we were like dead set on that at one point. Then he died, kind of seemingly out of nowhere, and they looked into him, and it wasn't. And so we're like, oh, okay. But I don't know. It seems like he has a lot of paintings. It seems like he's been obsessing over her for a while.
Yeah.
Right? We know he did research on her, but did he know of her a good amount before? Because that's what it feels like to me. Like, you're not painting and drawing that many pictures and that many paintings in what? How long did they know each other? I don't know what the timeline is on that, but it felt short.
Like a month, a couple months or something?
If it's a couple months, then that could work.
But I felt like a month or less even.
I thought it was less. I thought it was weeks.
It might have been.
But
yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What's the timeline on the first season in the present day from when Adam and Shauna meet to when she kills him? Like, how long do you think there is between that?
I could see it either way, like that he's been like stalking her for a little bit. But I also think that like she was his muse, and since he is an artist, I think it's totally possible that he just painted a bunch of stuff with her in it because
he can be a fast painter.
He was just obsessed and focused on her. And then there's that one painting though that she's like a demon in.
Sure, and I think that this is probably something he painted towards the end.
Sure.
This was something where he saw this darkness inside of her and he was reflecting it on canvas. Now, yeah, like some artists, like I do an artist's hair who does these like photorealistic paintings, and she spends like 6 months on each painting.
Yeah.
Right, and he's doing really, really good work. Like this is very, it's not like hyper realistic, but it's pretty true to life. And he's doing a lot of it from memory or artistic expression of the face. Now we could look up pictures online. She's famous because of what happened to her. But these would be more modern pictures. I don't know how many pictures you could get of her now.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm putting a little too much thought into this, but he's got to be a pretty fast painter.
Yeah. Because
some people take a month or two to do one of these. And
yeah,
he has like 15.
Yes,
right?
But if you're struck with inspiration, you know, and are just like working and painting for a lot, like many hours a day, every time he's not with her, he's painting.
I'm not saying it's not possible.
I think it could be either. I don't truthfully know.
You could do 3 of them in a day for all I know.
Yeah. I didn't see it as... I just kind of, whenever they walked in and it was tons of paintings of her, I just was like, oh, he was like super obsessed with her. Yeah. That's my first impression. So.
Yeah. And their response to that is to fuck in his studio, leaving DNA evidence behind.
So gross.
Bad criminals.
Really bad criminals and really gross.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for Jeff.
I do too.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to be a good husband.
Yeah.
And you made a really good point because I was really grossed out by their like, oh, I imagine like other people's tongues in your mouth or something. I thought that was really nasty and not in like a good way at all. But you were like, well, they started out like cheating. Like that was kind of their whole thing. So it does totally make sense that like being like a taboo thing like that would turn them both on. But yeah, I just thought it was really gross. It made me really dislike Shauna more because I was just like, oh, I don't know. I mean, no judgment, like whatever people want to do in their relationship, of course. But like from my perspective, I was just like, it mostly I think is because she was being so manipulative about it. Like she already cheated on him. It's not like she was like, hey, like let's like, what about this idea? Like what if we saw other people or whatever? It was like she just like cheated on him and then was trying to manipulate him into being like aroused by it or like kind of okay, and like that's really shitty. So
and she knows what buttons to press with him. She's been with him long enough now that she's been manipulating him for a long time. This poor girl just wants to sing.
I know.
I was like, just let this fucking girl hum and
sad. Everyone's telling her to be quiet, and she's like such a cute, like pretty voice, and it's like there's no music out there. I don't know. You gotta like have some things to lighten your day when you're in a situation that horrible, I think.
Yeah, like Papa Roach.
Like Papa Roach?
Yeah. Do you not know
No.
the song that Jeff's listening to?
Oh yeah, the Cut My
Last
Life into
Resort.
Pieces. I forgot. I don't really listen to any Papa Roach.
I mean, he's the 90s kid.
It's funny because that's song
my generation.
feels like a meme song to me a little bit. Like it's
it was a
I know
big
it was
deal
like
when it came out.
People are really into it, and that's fine. But like I don't know. I heard it like when it started, and it kind of made me laugh because it's such an emo song. Like it just is so like that's what I think of.
I love it.
But it's good. It fit the scene, and yeah, he's a '90s kid. So
Yeah,
I was like,
he's my generation, so I relate for sure.
Yeah,
it's not something I listen to anymore, but like in high school, it was a cool song.
Yeah.
So hearing it here was kind of fun, and nostalgia was a big part of last season.
Yeah,
I talked about like Liz Fair songs and stuff that came on. I was like, whoa, I haven't heard this shit in forever. And we continue here. Yeah, okay. So for future reference, when you're burning stuff, you might want to check through the ashes, sift through them to make sure that, the laminated IDs actually burned because they are hard to dispose of. So maybe checking the ashes would be, I don't know, a good idea. But the daughter did it. And oh no, is there going to be a rift there? You want to talk about someone who you need to look out for? Like what happens when she wants to go to the cops, right? She now has confirmation that her mom probably killed him. Yes. And this is going to come up because I don't know if she knows. Does she know he's dead yet?
Yeah.
I think she does.
Well,
right?
they know that he's missing.
Missing, okay.
Because they disposed of his body.
Because they don't know for sure.
But they know he's missing, so...
So her daughter's not dumb. She's going to connect these dots.
Yes, she is.
And when he is declared dead...
She's going to go to the police.
Daughter's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Daughter's going to be a problem, and mom's going to have to eat her.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We'll see. I don't know what's up with this tree stump that she's seeing in her visions. Is this like where they're gonna find Javi? Because like, I don't know.
Well, later after that, and it's actually Travis that has the vision. Natalie and him find a tree. It's not a tree stump, but it's a tree where there's no snow around the base of it. It's just like the moss.
I couldn't tell who was having that vision. If it was Lottie, because she was the one that was like, your brother's still alive after he had his vision. But I was like, she's the one speaking up about a vision. So were they simultaneously sharing the same vision?
Maybe.
Were we seeing his vision or her vision? Like, I couldn't tell because she was the one giving him the vision by touching him.
Yeah, I actually took it as him first, but now that you say it, I think maybe they were having it together.
Simultaneously.
But yeah, I think that tree that they find, at like the base of it looks like the stump. So I think that might be the tree, and maybe it's going to get cut down or something. It's a really big tree, though. It's really tall.
Yeah, that scene definitely had me stumped.
Yeah. Huh.
Blah. And yeah, we talked a teeny bit about Thaisa biting Van, which Van was into.
She was fine with it.
She was like, I love you in blood.
Yeah.
We see that Thaisa, we should say, we see that Van's solution for Thaisa's sleepwalking is to tie their wrists together.
Yes.
So she can't get up and walk off in the middle of the night and let her get attacked by wolves.
Right.
So that would be good. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think her face could take another beating. Yeah, I mean, the way that Lottie is able to stop Nat from going off on her is saying that she has a message from Travis, which, you know, we know that Travis died in a room with candle wax that made up the symbol that we have seen 100 times. That is a part of Lottie's cult.
Yes.
That we saw out in the woods. So, was Lottie there at his death?
Possibly.
It seems likely to me that she was there, and I think that, you know, she's going to be like, he killed himself once he knew what I knew, when he saw what I saw is coming, or whatever, or like, you know, he couldn't deal with what we did out there anymore, or something, right? Like, so she's going to be able to keep Nat at bay for the moment being, because Nat's obviously still in love with Travis and doesn't want to not get this information of what he had to say. But I do think we're going to find that Travis, Lottie, and Van were all together at Travis's death, and potentially maybe another person, because they purposely kept people's heads down when they were getting on the plane, hiding other people.
Yeah.
But I don't know who the other person would be.
Yeah.
I think the coach definitely dies. I think that the new friggin' drama girl dies. I think that a lot of the background girls die. I don't think any of the survivors are people that we don't know. I don't think there's going to be any like background characters that survive, right? It's all going to be people. Now, could there be a person who's like introduced in later season 2 or season 3 that we never knew before, and then she becomes like a major player, and then she survived? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't, So who else could it be? How many people survived? I think they're going to keep that under wraps and a secret for a while.
I do too.
But it is frustrating because they should have named them. That's the show's weak point, is that the girls would have pointed out, like, hey, these people survived. They're suspects. Yeah. But they're not doing that, which is just bullshit. But it's convenience of the show to keep secrets so they can hit us with them later. So yeah. And I think that's about it. Yeah, we get the confrontation of Thaisa and her partner and the kid, and then she goes and she finds this room. And she kind of immediately like acknowledges, like, oh shit, I did this. Yes, like she doesn't really deny it much. She's kind of like, oh, I fucked up and I won't do that again. And she did, like, Steve knows what's up though. He's
oh my god, so
he's
funny.
Like, what is this room and why is there a freaking dog heart?
I was laughing so much because he's just like side eyeing the altar, like she's holding him, and he's like looking over at it just the whole time, like
He's like, I'm next.
100.
Put me back in the shelter.
I know, he better not die.
He probably will.
I hope not.
Yeah, Thaisa is not done eating dirt
dogs,
and biting people and hanging out in trees.
She's scary. She's really scary. I don't like what's going on with her. Yeah. It freaks me out.
So any more to say? I think I had other things, but I can't remember at the moment.
Yeah, I had a good time with the first episode. I'm really excited for the rest of the season, and
that's it.
That's it.
Right. All right. Well, till next week, guys.